Hello people and welcome to Bleach Finale 101 with Sawyer 7 Mage. Just as a side note, I actually just got home from going to see the Ghostbusters, the new movie. And I know a lot of people are thinking like, what the hell are you doing watching that piece of crap? Well, that's exactly why I went. I felt like it's one of the most hated videos on YouTube, the trailer at least. And I just wanted to see if the movie merited the amount of hate that it was getting. Surprisingly, the room was full, all right? I was like, wait, so many people hate it, yet they came here to watch it, and then I actually found myself like laughing at a couple of scenes. I will say though that the trailer is complete garbage. I don't know who the head of marketing is, but they definitely picked the worst clips of the movie to show in that trailer. That trailer is just straight up like super cringy compared to the actual movie. The movie's not that bad. And all of the previous Ghostbusters from the first movie have a cameo. At least the ones that had a major role and the ones that are alive. And the second reason why I went to go see this movie is that I'm sorry, I love Kate McKinnon. I think Kate McKinnon is a comedy genius. If you don't watch SNL, you don't know who Kate McKinnon is, she's basically the person that sold the movie for me. I'll leave a link to one of her best skits down in the description. She has a very distinct way of speaking, and her comedic timing is on point. So to me, Kate made the movie. Rotten Tomatoes has the film at a 74, certified fresh, which is surprisingly still better than Batman v Superman, believe it or not. If I were to give this movie a grade, I'd probably give it a 68. But if Kate hadn't been in the movie, my grade goes down to a 31, if that had been the case. Anyway, on to Bleach. I'm sorry I talked about this. I just came back from the movie. So I read Bleach, and once again, I feel like I know enough about what the hell's going on in order to, comment on it extensively. And plus, I had a lot of fun making that other video last week, so I figured, what the hell? So basically, this chapter starts out using it's a very common narrative technique to have the story end where it all began, almost. So basically you have Soul Society, that's the setting. This is pretty much, that's basically the arc that, jump-started Bleach. So it would make sense for it to all come to an end in Soul Society. And that's where the final fight will occur. Additionally, from what I can tell, the way that I'm looking at Kubo, the way that he's moving his pieces, it's become very obvious that this final fight is going to be a team effort. Because for one, Uryu is given this item by the dads, both his dad and Ichigo's dad. He's given this key item that we know it's an arrowhead, but we know that's going to play a crucial role in the upcoming fight. That's writing 101. So he's going in there with that arrowhead to do something with it. And then perhaps most importantly is that Aizen is freed because apparently he was trapped in a chair. That chair was specifically designed to be able to restrain Aizen's butt cheeks for a significant period of time because it was designed by the Bleach equivalent of Orochimaru, a guy called Mayuri, if I remember correctly. Mayuri? I think that's his name. Yeah, so he designed it for people like Aizen who have immortal butt cheeks. So he couldn't move, all right? Oh, and by the way, and this is genuinely like the only question, content-wise, this is the only question I have about the chapter that I was like, wait, what the fuck? There was like this scene with, okay, so Renji is carrying Ichigo's ass, and he's helping him up and stuff. Like, you gotta keep moving, Ichigo, yada, yada, yada. They're making their way to the final fight. But there was like this moment where he's just like, oh, Ichigo, I'll always be your friend because you helped heal, like, my relationship with Rukia. Like, what? That commentary, like, that very nostalgic, I guess, reminiscing of him and Rukia's relationship was that like a romantic undertone? Did that have like some romantic like subtext involved? Because if that's the case, and I totally missed that part. I'm like, I don't know what arc he's referencing. I probably skipped that part. Then again, I pretty much skipped most of it. But this is fun. Isn't it fun just to shoot the shit about Bleach? I think it's fun. I really do. And back to my original question, I just don't know if like that was supposed to have like. So when it comes to Renji and Rukia's relationship, is that like a friendship, like a platonic thing, or is there like a romantic undertone there? I don't know. In all honesty, the only relationship I only care about who Rangiku ends up with. Back to the core of the chapter. it looks like Aizen, as of right now, is the only character left that can actually stand a chance in defeating Yhwach. That's basically how it looks. So, when one of the previous main antagonists of a series, right, is the final hope, he could be the final hope, the last hope to take down the core, the bad guy, the final bad guy, that's either a pretty good twist, a pretty creative, sort of deviant way of structuring the story, or that's pretty much god-awful power scaling development when it comes to the protagonist. Because here's the thing, right? Ichigo and Renji show up by the end of this chapter, okay? And I have a huge problem understanding how it's possible that Ichigo's sword gets cracked once again. That sword literally just got fixed in the previous chapter. And this chapter ends with it being busted again. Like that would be, let me draw a comparison here. That would be like if Naruto, during the final Shinobi War, he loses the chakra of the Nine-Tailed Fox, gets it back, and then he loses it again the next chapter. That is some crazy, yet highly entertaining, borderline comedic type of shit, all right? To the point where, like, I'm of the belief, I'm beginning to think that that actually didn't happen. I think it's a genjutsu. It's an illusion. That's the way that I would write the scene. Actually, after thinking about it, that probably wouldn't make a lot of sense anyway. Like if Aizen, because Aizen had the ability to manipulate the senses, but even if it was a genjutsu, like Yhwach can see into the future, so it still wouldn't be like, yeah, I saw you using that illusion in the future. So it's like, wow, like these these characters are so broken, man. Like that's the thing, when you create a character and you give them like broken ass abilities, you have to take notes. You have to make sure that the rules make sense by the end. I actually just thought of something. It just came to me right now. So you know how Yhwach, like he's been absorbing like these very powerful motherfuckers. Like he absorbed the Soul King. What would you think if Yhwach ended up absorbing Aizen? I'm just putting that out there because I think like at this point, all right, I feel like everything goes. Like everything and anything goes. It's like Kubo, I don't think anything is too out of bounds for Kubo anymore, you know? Because if you think about it, if Aizen doesn't defeat Yhwach, if he doesn't play a significant enough role to defeat Yhwach, then the only way I see this ending is like either they all lose, like everybody loses, and Yhwach becomes like, the next coming of Jesus, or somehow Aizen and Ichigo work together to give Uryu enough time to show up with that arrow, and then Uryu be like, yo, Ichigo, duck, bitch, I got this. Or Aizen truly becomes Bleach's final hero. He becomes the person who defeats Yhwach by himself, and he is declared the winner of this series. And that's how it closes. And the thing about Aizen is, I really don't think he's that bad of a guy. I mean, yeah, he's done some shady stuff, a lot of dick moves, but I think at the end of the day, like, Aizen just wanted to be better than anybody else. And that's what we all really want. Deep down, Aizen just wanted to achieve perfection. And he went about it the wrong way. But I think the time that he has spent just on that chair, doing nothing, I think that's given him enough time to develop some pretty bad hemorrhoids enough to make him a better person. Notice how Kubo doesn't show us Ichigo's reaction to finding out that Aizen has been freed. Alright? I think that's very telling. The fact that we didn't get a moment of both of them seeing each other in this chapter, I think is super intentional by Kubo. So we'll see what happens in the next one. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below with your thoughts. Are you going to go see Ghostbusters, or are you just straight up fucking against that shit? Are you thinking that Aizen is going to be the final hero of Bleach, or the person to take out Yhwach, however you want to phrase it. Thanks, guys. Let me know what you think. Bye.